All right, in this video, we're gonna be checking out our 2013 BMW Alpina B7 long wheelbase. This car had 64,000 miles on it. Sapphire black paint, black interior, powder coated black wheels, beautiful car. So we're just gonna start off here doing a quick walk around. Then I will go through, do some close-ups, pointing out any imperfections I can find on the car. Right now, I'm about 5 feet away. Nothing obvious sticking out, as far as damage or dings or dents. Everything looks really nice. Well, the color combination on this car and the equipment. It's got a lot of nice bells and whistles in this one. Not all these Alpinas are optioned the same way. A lot of these have more options than others, and this one's a very well loaded up one. Especially being a long wheelbase, so you get more foot room in the back seats, as well as the rear power seat package, which is very rare. Now let's check out the roof here too. It's very nice. Okay, so I'm going to start off here on the driver's side, checking out the driver's fender. So overall, the car's got very little as far as chips go. It does have 64,000 miles on it, but it is in really nice shape. So checking out the front driver's wheel, the only obvious damage on here is on the center cap. Again, this was powder coated. Some of this coating came off after our detailer was using the power washer. Of course, it's got a little bit of marks on there that can be resprayed, of course, as these center caps are removable. Looking down the side of the driver's side of the car, we're not seeing any dings or dents. Very nice and straight body, and the paint really shines. I mean, it's got that nice mirror finish, as we can see. So one thing I like to note too, this car, before we got it, this thing had a wrap on it that was white. The previous owner had taken it off, did not do the most phenomenal job removing it, and when we got it in, we did our best to clean it up. So I'm going to point out some spots here and where you can kind of see, a little bit as far as where this prior wrap was at. You see a little bit under the trim on the doors. If you look really closely underneath, there's a couple spots with some, that white material, and a little bit with this yellow, which I think was that, that tape they used to take off the wrap. So really the only way to clean that up perfect is taking off, this trim. But when you do that, a lot of times it does not go back, very nicely, and then you get some kind of, lit up areas, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep it, looking sharp. So looking down towards this door here, you can just see a few little rock chips on the bottom side here of the door. On the really bottom side, you can kind of see a little bit where it's been kicked up. A little scratch here as well. A few little marks down the side, but very, very minimal. Again, I'm doing some close-ups, trying to highlight as best we can. Passenger door, looking pretty much immaculate. This side is cleaned up a little better than the driver's side. A couple little hairline scratches. Sorry, I'm trying to get the focus right here. Here we go. Yeah, a couple little hairline scratches on this, window molding. Door handles look nice. Rest of the door looks super clean. Rest of the rocker looks super clean. Moving on to the driver's quarter panel. Looking virtually spotless. Only kind of marks I see is a couple rock chips right here. And it kind of blends well, and then your typical rock chips on the bottom side here. The rear driver's wheel, excellent shape. There's no curb rash along the wheel at all. The center cap's got a little bit of marks on it, and that's actually from the moving this center cap out to access the key, it kind of rubs up against there a little bit. All these tires are brand new except for one. One is like brand new, and 3 we had just replaced. These are the Pirelli P0s. They're about $450 a piece. Super expensive tires, but they're like one of 2 or 3 brands I think you can put on this car. It's not a whole lot of options. They're pretty special tires. So onto the rear bumper. Rear bumper overall looks pretty good. There's no really obvious damage on here, just a couple little marks that I can see, you know, scratches wise. There's a scratch down here, you know, that's been filled in. One thing I can say is, you know, this bumper, from what I can see in the past, it's been repainted. It's in good shape. You know, even looking down the side, it's not all wavy. You know, it's definitely was done pretty well. You can just kind of see a little bit as far as the fish eyes if you look closely. Might be hard to catch in the camera because honestly it's a pretty good job. It's just not the best that I've seen, you know, especially underneath these marker lights. You can kind of see where it's a little bumpy. A lot of people wouldn't notice this, but given anyone that's out of state looking at this car, I'm just being as transparent as I can be. So a little bit there on both sides, and then you can see a little bit as far as, you know, where the paint line was on the bumper. You know, it's pretty faded here. You really can't see it too much, but a little bit as far as, you know, on that edge. The trunk looks great. All the chrome is in excellent condition. Same with the emblems. They're very nice. The bottom side of the rear bumper has never been, you know, scraped up or anything that we can see. It's in really nice shape. Top part of the trunk, it's not all scratched up. There's a couple little spots, you know, maybe some sap or whatnot got stuck on the paint. Just a few little minimal spots. Spoiler's in nice shape all around. All right, so moving on to the passenger side. Let's look down the side here. So it looks very nice and straight. I'm not seeing any dings or dents. Super clean. This quarter panel here, again, from what I can see, this has also been repainted. You can kind of see a little bit of the orange peel. You know, it's not horrendous, but you can, if you look up closely, you can kind of see it a little bit. And there's a little bit of sand marks here in this region. You know, a lot of used cars, you know, have had paint work, but you know, this one I can point out here. Also along the top here, I'm not sure if this is from the prior wrap that got stuck in here or a combination of that and maybe the tape line from this paint work, but you can kind of see a little bit of this white line here, you know, going up against the railing. A little bit on both sides, very minimal though. When you look along the top side, you can kind of see a little bit, it gets a little more faint. But that's it for paint work that I've seen. It's really just that quarter panel, this rear bumper, and then I think just the bottom section of this trunk. Yeah, I can see a little bit. This side is all original as far as the top goes. Okay, so looking at the rear passenger wheel, this one looks virtually flawless. Just a little bit of marks here along the edge of that center cap. The center caps on pretty much all these, the coloring, you know, had come off. They kind of do what's age. A lot of them only last a couple of years before the coloring starts to flake off a little bit. So the rear passenger door, very nice shape. That's not even a chip. I really don't see much of anything on here. Maybe just a little chip here. There might be a little bit of scratch, and there might be some compound stuff there in the bottom a little bit. There's one little scratch here in the bottom. That's pretty much it for this little door. The front passenger door also in very clean shape. This rocker, it's nice and clean. Yeah, really nothing to point out on here. Even the moldings on this side, you can see a little bit as far as that wrap that I was talking about. But I would say it's a lot more clean on this side. This one, I really don't see it at all. I'm sorry about the camera kind of gets bright and dark, you know, with depending on where I'm aiming it. So I'm trying to point this out as best I can. Passenger fender. Also super nice and clean. And checking out the front passenger wheel. Again, very nice shape. I'm seeing some very faint curb rash here on the edge. Just on that one side. And you can kind of see a little bit as far as the marks come on here too. You know, these have some double side tape. This one's a little bit flimsy on this side. And checking out the front end of the car, which is by far my favorite. That's really where this Alpina stands out the most. So you got the really nice Alpina front spoiler there on the bottom. There's no curb rash coming through the lip on the very bottom. Also looking very clean. Again, this was actually brand new. We had put this installed. The last guy had damaged it and taken it off the front bumper, so we got all that repaired and by putting on a new spoiler. So this one also too, it's got the LED fog lights on both sides. The front bumper itself looks immaculate. Only chips you kind of see is a little bit here on the grills, which I think he had this refinished in black. Kind of get that black on black look. See a little bit of chips there down the middle. The headlights are those really nice adaptive LED lights, which did not come on all these 2013s. At least I don't believe so. So on the front here, you can see a little bit of chips. Very minor. Overall hood, very nice and clean. You know, it's not all dinged up or scraped up. A couple little minor, you know, marks here and there. A chip there. Little chips here and there. But yeah, very minor. Side mirrors, you know, show a little bit of chips along the bottom. The windshield, it's got a few very decent sized chips in here, especially down the middle. You know, you kind of see. When I'm inside the car, I'll point this out a little better too. It's probably hard for this to adjust. But we did have that filled in, the best they could do. But it's still a little, you know, apparent obviously. But it shouldn't get any worse. You know, on the passenger side, you know, there's one little chip up here and another decent sized one down here, but you can't see while you're in the car. All right, checking out the roof. Roof's in real nice shape. There's a couple little spots of that little sappy stuff that you kind of seen on the trunk. Overall, not really much to point out. The rear glass is in perfect shape. Kind of see a little bit as far as those sappy marks. And the front part of the roof looks great. All right, so we're going to move on to video 2 and checking out the interior. It's a very hot day out here in Arizona, so I gotta let the camera cool down a little bit and we'll dive into the interior. Okay, this is going to be video 2 of the 2013 Alpina B7 long wheelbase. In this video we're going to be diving into the interior, which is absolutely gorgeous on this car. So it's got full leather throughout, you know, on top of the door panels here. Even the back here, this isn't all gooey and gunky like you see a lot of these get. You can kind of see a little bit where it's wearing on the top, but still all intact. All the buttons are in great shape. You know, got the little massage seat options here for the front seats. All the carpets are in real nice shape. The seats are immaculate. So usually down the bolsters, you see a lot of wear. It's really virtually nothing on this. It's still 64,000 miles. Steering wheel is in nice shape. All the controls, the buttons, the leather dash, the suede headliner. It's absolutely beautiful. Checking out the back seats. Again, door panels looking beautiful. The rears also have the massage seat options here too. You got that light up B7 as soon as you open up the doors. You can see here you got the rear power seat options for both sides of the rear seats. We also got the BMW TV accessories as well. That plugs in with that cigarette lighter there. And when we start the car we can check that out, but I believe you can insert a DVD to get those going. Let's check out the passenger side. So, passenger door panel, also in impeccable condition. This inside door handle is perfect. Also has massage seats. The seats themselves are immaculate. All the trim looks perfect. The interior in this car really stands out beautifully. I would give it nearly a 10 out of 10, as it is very close to being perfect. And the door panel here as well. Massage seats again. Very nice and clean. And of course too, this is also a seat. You know, if you got a third person in the middle. And then the controls down here, you have the ventilated and heated seats for the passengers. You got some little mirrors back here as well. Love the headliner. And this is in perfect shape. There's no sagging whatsoever. There's some leather as well on the pillars. You can see that where it's stitched into that suede. Just very nicely done. Alright, let's check out the trunk. So you get a ton of trunk space as you do in all, you know, 7 Series and the LIs. We got 2 sets of floor mats, rubber and the carpeted ones. You do have the books here as well. And this is the Alpina books, and all those are in there. Inside here, I'm not sure what happened, but it's some kind of almost like glue substance on the bottom here. Not sure what got stuck there, but that's where these books have been chilling out at. All right, and of course power, trunk. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a cold start. This car does not have any mufflers on it. It's been modified to be so it does get a little loud. When it warms up, it definitely dials down a bit. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So all the service has already been completed. We brought it in. We got the oil change done, the brake fluid. So nothing is needed at this time. Go ahead and check out the hood. now it's starting to dial down. So under the hood, very nice and clean. Does have the Danan air intakes on both sides, the carbon fiber. This is about $2,500 brand new to add on. Adds a little bit more horsepower. You see the LEDs. In this video, I know it's kind of hard to see the LEDs, but they're perfectly white. There's no discoloration on them. And that's what the exhaust sounds like. Alright, so I'm going to pause it, let it warm up for a little bit, and we'll do a couple revs. Okay, so we're back in the car. We'll let it run for a couple minutes. We're still a bit cold, but this is what it sounds like in the cabin. It's really not loud in here. When we go ahead and give it some gas, we can hear the exhaust tones a little bit. Let's go ahead. So very nice and powerful, but you know, these windows do a good job. Let's go ahead and roll down the front window so we can hear what it sounds like. So very, very nice. All right, go ahead and roll the window back up. So on the windshield, so in the driver's view, it's pretty clean. The major chip here is right down the middle. So when you are driving, it's kind of, you know, right there in the bottom right side. You know, not directly in your vision, but you can see it. That other one up there is up towards the top, and that other one on the bottom, you cannot see whatsoever being in the car. Okay. We'll go ahead and check out the moonroof. Get a little more light in here. So all the windows, yeah, moonroof controls and everything, all the safety, you know, stuff. It's got a whole lot of options in here. So very nice. All right, gonna go ahead and shut her down. And that's going to conclude our videos here on the 2013 BMW Alpina B7 long wheelbase, super slick car. If you have any questions, again, my name is Vince. Feel free to give us a call here at Midline Motors. Our number is 480-470-2500. Thanks for watching. All right, in this video, we're going to be checking out our 2013 BMW Alpina B7 long wheelbase. This car had 64,000 miles on it. Sapphire black paint, black interior, powder coated black wheels, beautiful car. So we're just going to start off here doing a quick walk around. Then I will go through, do some close-ups, pointing out any imperfections I can find on the car. Right now I'm about 5 feet away, nothing obvious sticking out, you know, as far as damage or dings or dents. Everything looks really nice. Love the color combination on this car and the equipment. It's got a lot of nice bells and whistles in this one. Not all these Alpinas are optioned the same way. A lot of these have more options than others, and this one's a very well loaded up one. Especially being a long wheelbase, so you get more, you know, foot room in the back seats, as well as the rear power seat package, which is very rare. Now let's check out the roof here too. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to start off here on the driver's side. Checking out the driver's fender. So overall, the car's got very little as far as chips go. It does have 64,000 miles on it, but it is in really nice shape. So checking out the front driver's wheel, the only obvious damage on here is on the center cap. Again, this was powder coated. Some of this coating came off after Our detailer was using the power washer. Of course, it's got a little bit of marks on there that can be, you know, resprayed, of course, as these center caps are removable. Looking down the side of the driver's side of the car, we're not seeing any dings or dents. Very nice and straight body. And the paint really shines. I mean, it's got a nice mirror finish, as we can see. So one thing I like to note too, this car, before we got it, this thing had a wrap on it that was white. The previous owner had taken it off, did not do the most phenomenal job removing it, and when we got it in, we did our best to clean it up. So I'm going to point out some spots here and where you can kind of see, you know, a little bit as far as where this prior wrap was at. You see a little bit under the trim on the doors. You know, if you look really closely underneath, there's a couple spots with some, you know, that white material, and a little bit with this yellow, which I think was that, you know, that tape they used to take off the wrap. So really the only way to clean that up perfect is taking off, you know, this trim. But when you do that, a lot of times it does not go back, you know, very nicely, and then you get some kind of, you know, lit up areas, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep it, you know, looking sharp.